rough idea. I thought, something is just not right with this stream. And now I know what it was. So I apologize for that, everybody. I was on the wrong stream. Happy full moon in Aries. Okay, let's see if this works. Yes. Okay, now we're good. My apologies. It's the whole restream. I start a stream, I end a stream. Let me make sure I've got everything going on before we get started. Hi, Sue Malik, Carol V, welcome. D. Pierre, hello. Jay Perez, Estrada, thank you for your membership. Marie Marcolone, Marie Marcolone, hello. Geocosmic Valentine, hi. I hope you're enjoying the grid work. Hope everybody enjoyed Wednesday's class. Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Nice fresh water. I'm watching, not doing too much ice, which is supposed to not be good. I'm also having a very nice cup of tea. I have hundreds and hundreds of herbs, but I still wind up just sticking to Lipton and stuff like that. It's very strange. I know. You would think that I just made a beautiful, I just made a lovely personal tea for somebody, right? So I have to think of. I do it for myself too, and sometimes I just want a good old fashioned PG tips or something like that. What can I tell you? Well, if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, before we start this wild and wicked show, it would be great if you could like and subscribe. Again, my apologies for starting two streams. We never want to do that, and when we do that, we apologize. So yes, liking and subscribing helps the channel. I also want to give gratitude to everyone who's decided to become a member of the channel. That is awfully sweet of you. Thank you, Kathy Scratch, for becoming an elder, empath and healer. Hopefully we can see you on Wednesdays for the show. If not, videos are available. Bon Bon, also welcome as an elder and healer. Marvel Johnson to Fairies and Angels. Villa Verde, always good to see her here. Elders and Empaths. Jiggy Pardo Lord. Fingal. Kathy Holcomb. Kathy Danaher, Alma, Marion Troy, Roses and Bees. I just wanted to give a shout out to those people who had signed up over the last week or so. And thank you. So with that, cheers. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. Also, hopefully you're all enjoying being a part of my book club. I'm so glad that I started a book club with Chuck. The book club is for those of you who want to send, if you're writers, excuse me, if you watch this channel on a regular basis and you're a new writer, or you've written a book and you'd like to send it to us to be part of our book club, the information is below the video. We've selected one book a month, and we will announce the winners, I think before Christmas. We'll probably announce the winners. So we finished up reading Inviting the Queen, but unfortunately, excuse me, Sandra Rogers was not able to be here, so she'll be back on October 10th for an interview. And then this month, our book is going to be The Call of the Cards. Rather witchy title for October. What do y'all think? Oh, Linda's out of surgery? Great. Hopefully you're doing well. Good. So, yeah, this will be fun. Has to do with tarot and magic and all that good stuff. Yeah. All right. So I've got a couple different decks for you today. We've got the Rider Waite. We've got the Mystic Kipper. We've got the Magical Kipper. We've got the Gilded Reverie. I think we've got it going on here. In terms of blitzes today, in terms of remote views, I want people to be just really mindful of deep fakes. Deep fakes, that's starting to come up a lot in the remotes. I didn't want to bog you guys down too much with this in case I couldn't find it. But let me see if I can find this. Here it is. Okay, I will. You know what? I'll bog you guys down with this. Here's something that you guys can do, those of you who are learning remote viewing. This is something that you guys can do for fun. I'm going to show you this picture. Who do you see? Who is this woman and who is this man? So that's the question. When you remote view these people, who do you see? So this is supposed to be Kim Jong-un and his wife, right? So here's another image. Now, Kim Jong-un's wife was out of the picture for a while. She evidently, they had found disfavor with her. Maybe she had made some political statements or something. But whatever the reason was, she disappeared for a while. So you have this new version of her. She looks like a fashion model, right? She's very beautiful. Who do you see? Who is this and who is this? This is the most recent pictures. Older, younger, the same. Does anybody want to talk about it? Are they photoshopped? The last picture when I did a remote was kind of interesting. Let me see if I can find it again. Did I blow this up for you guys? Yeah, there you go. Can you see it now? I've got so many, I apologize. I've got so much stuff open right now. Okay. I think this is a model. I think this is an actress and a model that's been hired. I think this is an actor. I think that they are both hired. It almost feels like central casting, North Korean central casting. I think this guy, the mannerisms, the way he's holding the hat, the way he's posing, this is a professional actor. Maybe he was a member of the family or dynasty and they brought in a professional actor. Look how handsome they've made him appear. He's also about 40 pounds lighter. And look at the new and improved wife. One foot in front of the other, which is something you learn in modeling. I know I used to do it. Not saying I was very successful at it, but the turning of the hip to make sure she has the perfect positioning for the photograph, the way she has her arm here. So what do we do with that? If what we have here is two stand-ins from central casting that have come in to model, nobody's getting close. They simply come and take the picture. Hey, we're the real Kim Jong-un and the real wifey. Yes, no. Am I completely out to lunch? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation. I'm frequently out to lunch, right? Are they both on diets? I don't know. I think that what you tell people is like in the TV movie Dave. Remember that movie Dave, where they brought in Dave to pretend he was the president, and he said, well, it must be really important duty if the president can't be here, right? That's right, Dave. And so we need you not to tell anybody, right, Dave? And you're going to go in there, Kevin Kline, and you're going to go pretend that you're the president. You're not going to talk to anybody. You're just going to wave, and then you're going to get back into the limo, and you're going to serve your country, and no one needs to know. Because the real Kim Jong-un has got important business for the state, and it's a security risk. And so perhaps if you were a true believer and you had acting training paid for by the state, you might feel that this was a wonderful opportunity to serve the state. Now that here's another question I have for you. And I want you guys to really, this is not a lesson in paranoia. This is a lesson in just letting your mind wander a bit to, these images. And again, asking ourselves, as we meditate on these people, you can pick maybe her. Look at how beautiful that model is posing. What would have been if we're to, well, look at him. He looks great too. New and improved 2.0 or 3.0 Kim Jong-un, right? Now, as scientists, we look at this and we say, something looks fishy, right? Because we look at the data and we say, how could somebody have lost 50 pounds, and look, he looks about 10 years younger, right? So this was supposed to be February of 21, at the height of COVID, after supposedly there were pictures smuggled out of him in the ICU. But look at him now. Wow, looks like he's 27 years old there, right? So he's knocked off a couple years, right? Who's in charge in North Korea? If Kim Jong-un is dead, and instead they've got an actor coming in and an actress playing the wife. The wife is gone now too, right? Theoretically, 1 minute she's there. This is the latest conspiracy theory, but it's starting to gain some juice. Why is it gaining juice? It's gaining juice because let me show you. You're going to understand everything in about 5 seconds here. Who's this lady? Who's this guy? This is probably a recreation of when they first got engaged, right? So here they are, supposedly what, 12 years earlier? Now, how did they go from this to that? Any questions? Maybe they have really good people. I don't know. Maybe they had facial reconstruction. So that's why people are starting to talk about the. I shouldn't laugh. You want to talk about it? Looks like COVID was good for him, right? Okay, so now we have another situation. So is his sister in charge? Is he dead? And is she just running around hiring actors? And then what? Killing off the actors if it leaks that it's an actor? You kill off those actors and find another group of actors. Something happens. That's a picture of them together. The last picture of them together is, I think, 2020 or something like that. That was them when they were first together. She's gone for close to a year. Did she piss off his sister? Did she threaten to oust, hey, my husband's dead? All we know is she's out of the limelight. She's gone. And then this new improved fashion model shows up claiming to be his wife. So there are people analyzing the facial structure and saying that they're not the same people just based on bone structure. So they're hiring doubles. They're hiring doubles. And so we're having a bigger problem than ever with deep fakes. So now you have this latest situation where people don't know if the Russian general is dead or alive, right? Because they've got a picture of him propped up on they've got him propped up, right? So the concern here is did they prop up his corpse? Did they now they're saying that there's that Sokolov did not die, that these are pictures of him actually alive. Um, is it another double? Again, we don't know. One group is saying he was killed, one group is saying that he was not killed. And so it again just becomes another example of disinformation warfare that we all have to be mindful of. I don't think it's Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-un's wife. I think that's obvious. And but what is more intriguing to me and what is starting to scare people is Kim Jong-un's sister is even more dangerous than he is. So if he did die, which is what people are terrified of considering this possibility, and it's just been a bunch of actors, did she go and kill? She seems to like poison more than Putin, right? People around them seem to be poisoned, like the half brother of Kim Jong-un. And Kim Jong-un evidently was distraught when he found out about it. So if it wasn't Kim Jong-un that led the hit, so people are starting to look at the sister and they're starting to think she's more ruthless than the brother. And if the brother is out, then who's in charge from is it her? And then who's the man bringing out the young daughter who's going to be the future ruler? So we have this new strong female imagery, and we have these models pretending to be Kim Jong-un and his wife. So it's starting to look very bizarre, and it's starting to even make cynics start to get really worried about what's going on. I don't know. What do y'all think? Yeah. So maybe she chose Kim Kim Jo-jin, I said her name. She might have chosen models that were more Korean, more attractive to a South Korean like actor style. That seems to be the two, just the posing, the fact that the the model knew to put her one foot forward and to match it with the right arm to get the back. I mean, she's obviously trained in yeah. And they always have the open smile too, models. Have you noticed that? Look at my great teeth. Yeah. All right. Let's do the empath prayer. Okay. I want to call on, excuse me. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those, excuse me, that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say amen. Oh, sorry, still fighting allergies. Okay. So our floor director is Joel Tilson. And so if you're having trouble having your questions asked, give it up to Joel. He's pretty good about making sure everyone's questions are seen. Joel, China in charge of North Korea. Well, this is the whole thing, right? When we do a remote view, you all know that I couldn't get out when I was Putin. I couldn't get out on the Western side, and I was wasting troops and I was wasting money. So, what I thought I would do as Putin is I thought that I would focus instead on strengthening my Eastern alliances. So, it doesn't surprise me that he's now opening up. We should see him, excuse me, opening up strong communication with North Korea, China, or anybody else he thinks is willing to deal with him. Because that's exactly how I felt as Putin. I have to go east because I can't go west. And so any contracts, you've got to use your existing allies. But let's look at China and North Korea. Huh. That's interesting. You know, it's interesting. I was doing a remote view of North Korea because there was a guy seen at the municipal buildings in the main area of North Korea stealing grass off the lawn. Did you guys ever see this video? Oh, I gotta mute this. Hold on. I gotta fix some stuff. We've got trolls. I have to. So I was kind of curious as a remote viewer about why the guy was picking all of this grass, and was he buying the grass or was he stealing the grass to hold on, what am I doing here? Customization. All right, that should take care of people that are only subscribers. Anyway, so when I went into the remote, it was fascinating because what the remote was that the municipal police had they had issued that in North Korea in the city, citizens were allowed to keep animals in pens like rabbits and whatnot for food. So that was the controversy. And so what the guy was doing is he was stealing grass to feed his rabbits, and he was keeping rabbits probably in pens in maybe in the top of an apartment buildings with other people. They were keeping livestock, and the government allows them to keep a certain amount of livestock which they slaughter. And what they were doing is they were stealing. They were so poor they couldn't afford to pay for the feed for the rabbits. And so they were stealing the grass. And so that became a propaganda to the West. Look, they're eating grass. No, but it's still bad. They were not eating grass. They were stealing municipal grass because they couldn't afford to buy feed for their rabbits. And then on special holidays, like when Kim Jong-un has a birthday, they might slaughter a rabbit or for a special occasion. But so that was the controversy. But it was interesting to look at it as a remote viewer, as a police officer, watching the grounds and seeing the poor people stealing the grass to feed their rabbits and having to chase them off and letting them do it anyway because my parents keep rabbits too, and being in that kind of dynamic, and the fact that they leave clumps of patches where the grass has been stolen and we have to replant it, right? So it's still an insight into the poverty, but it's also, I think, a richer understanding of the people that even in those kinds of restrictions, you find a way to live, even if it means growing small, having a small area where you can grow animals, etc. So I thought that was an interesting insight. It's interesting what you asked, Joel, about China, because they're saying that China actually wants North Korea to become independent as soon as possible, which surprises me. The Five of Swords is here, which leads me to think that they're not going to be funding North Korea for much longer. Of course, you can see here this heartbreak from North Korea. They get rice, they get certain surpluses from North Korea. And so, for that reason, if they don't get a certain amount of food stores, it's going to be very difficult for them. Now, it could be because things are so bad right now in North Korea, a lot of it's not public information. But if you have this pullback of China from North Korea resulting in North Korea's heartbreak, it could just be because the economic situation is so bad for China, they really have to look at who they're giving their resources and aid to. And unfortunately, that means, look, North Korea, you're going to have to work out your issues. You're going to have to work out your conflicts and your sanction issues, etc., because you can't be relying solely on China for resources. So what does that mean? It means North Korea has to sell slave labor to Russia in exchange for food, weapons, supplies, etc. It forces North Korea to go out and negotiate other relationships. You can see here they hope for new beginnings and they get new beginnings. So there is a desire for North Korea to sell or to have their stuff, to have some kind of exchange of resources. They blame the West and the United States. They say they're being starved by the West because we have sanctioned them to the point where they can't sell their stuff. So we are responsible for the starvation, not them. And then China says, go out and sell. Well, we can't sell because of the sanctions. Well, sell to China. Okay, well, we can, if you need, if you need cheap labor to make factories making stuff for the Russian army, that's because you have no money, because Wagner was a financial disaster, then this could be a new economic incentive for North Korea. So it's a win-win situation as far as they're concerned. But it's also an interesting insight, because it's basically saying China is pulling back on its ability to help others. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Claudia, that connection's already been made. He was in, excuse me, he was in Epstein's book. Well, that's the thing. They may already be following Kim Jong-un's sister. So if Kim Jong-un is the one in charge, if her brother is dead or incapacitated, I mean, like, who the hell is this model? Who are these people? What kind of arrangement is this? Is this a permanent arrangement? Is this only an occasional arrangement? Is this because he was sick? What's going on? Why are these people being used? And then why did his wife disappear after he wound up in hospital? And why was she gone for a year? And why does this new and improved fashion model show up with this new and improved Kim Jong-un? Things are starting to look really bizarro. Right. So, and that's the fear, is that she's the one in charge. And did she kill the wife, take the daughter? Now the daughter's living with her. The daughter never sees her dad. Hey, look, you get to show up with your dad. I haven't seen my dad in 3 years. I've been staying with my aunt. He was sick. Now he's back. So we show up at a party together. Yes, the future leadership will be female, and we have to get the people used to the idea. So I'm going to have his daughter parade with the model, with the model of Kim Jong Un. Hey, I get to see my daddy. I haven't seen him in 3, 4 years or whatever, right? So who knows? Or he's alive and well, and he just occasionally uses models. Who knows? But that's the big fear, is that it's his sister in charge. And what do you do to the model afterwards? Well, we don't need you anymore. We don't trust you. So out comes the poison, right? She's the poison queen of North Korea. She scares me. She's like the psychotic poisoner. They say that like his entire family has been killed in poisoning, and it's all been linked back to her, including the poisoning of his half brother. They made it like a joke, and they think it was linked back to Kim Jong Un's sister, but slapped the guy on the back repeatedly. No, what is it? Slapped him on the back or put it in his face. And the woman thought it was a joke about perfume, and it was ricin or something. Oh my God. Just goes back also to that whole theory that, we think of psychopaths, Hollywood thinks of psychopaths as almost exclusively male, but research shows, sorry sisters, that you can be, it's what is it, 3% of the general population, and just as likely in males or females, but it's covered differently in females and males. But boy, she sounds like a total psychopath. I like this question, Joel. The future of she is scary because she really looks like he's close to war, and yet the economy in China is terrible. I don't know. I want your guys' opinions. Do you think Kim Jong Un is still alive? Do you think he's alive and incapacitated? Who's in charge? Do you think he's alive and he just uses models occasionally for whatever? He looked terrible in 1919. 1921, he looks great. That was right after supposedly that he got COVID. She could be forced out. People say there can't be another revolution, but and people say no, it won't happen. It won't happen. It has happened. It happened. There was a Chinese revolution. There was Tiananmen Square. There's been rebellion in Hong Kong. Five of Swords. He does not want to lose power. What's weird? His father was incarcerated by the Chinese for being a traitor or something. Excuse me. Being a traitor or something. Weapons taken away, incarceration. It could be that he is taken out by his own people. Evidence against him. Either he or his detractors could be incarcerated. Like there's this taking the weapons away and incarceration, and then a celebration by his enemies. Incarceration. He has this fear of incarceration. He wants to make peace with his enemies. Evidence against him. There could be a risk of a coup. Dead or comatose? Yeah. Didn't pretty much all the readers say they saw him dead or comatose? Well, if that really is him, he really looks a lot healthier and more attractive after COVID. Dead as a doornail. So do you think his sister's in charge? Jo Jing, is that her name? That's scary. Well, it's like the whole lab leak, we did a remote, and the woman who headed the lab said it's not possible that there was an accidental lab leak because of the amount of security, which means that it was intentional, which means that if the remote views are to be believed, she said it can't have been a lab leak because there's no way. We incinerate everything. There's no way there's going to be a lab leak. So she was telling the truth, which means that it was intentional. What do we mean by intentional? It means that there was a spy working inside the lab that attempted to steal some of the material, possibly to sell to some other country or some other competitor, and it leaked. Not because people were going to take it home and eat the animals or anything like that. The animals were also incinerated, but because if you had a sample of that stuff and you could sell it to another lab, if you were a spy, say an American spy attempting to steal material from a Chinese lab, there were COVID spies from China that were arrested in the United States, Americans, I think it was, attempting to steal genetic material. The COVID genetic research is being done for pigs, believe it or not. It was to vaccinate pigs that are at high risk for COVID. That's why you'll get swine flus, influenzas, etc. So they were competing for a vaccine. 2 American spies were arrested and 2 in Canada. So that would fit the remote views we've done on COVID, that it was intentionally taken out of the lab, probably as theft, possibly to sell the material, and it was accidentally leaked into the general population. And we probably knew that, which is why we were arresting spies, and Canada was arresting spies, and everybody was arresting COVID spies, because that's what we do. We try to steal their patents. They try to steal our patents. Game theory, right? You go back and you study. You look at. Excuse me. What's game theory? What's game theory? What were they doing in the lab? They were doing something. Let's see if I can find this. Darwin's general theory of evolution is not a theory, it's a law. That's why we were talking about aliens before, right? The fact that we were looking at Colophysis, early dinosaur evolution, that we had a species breaking away from our genetic line over 200 million years ago, even before the crocodile. And if they had no predators, then they have a scientific advantage of 200 million years. And then you watched the scientific community have a meltdown. So that's the scientific method. So if you're talking about game theory, you go in and you look at the evolution of a virus, just like we look at the evolution of a hand. We're not saying that the mummies in Mexico are aliens. We're saying that it's a species that exist and evolved here on Earth, that we're just now discovering, possibly because it's been hiding or living in an environment that's not readily available to humans. For example, deep in a cave where we would have trouble getting to because of lack of oxygen. So that's an example. I'm just pulling that out as an example of game theory, where you start to experiment with evolutionary theory, creating a stressor to see what will evolve or what will be created. And so that's what they think was going on in the COVID lab. They were seeing what kind of virus they could evolve using evolutionary theories. Now, the fear out of Peru, what's scaring everybody about these sightings out of Peru is that people are concerned that they're not aliens, but some kind of weird lab leak. What do you guys think? What are your theories? See. Now, excuse me. The cover story is that it's jetpacks. The people say no, it's not jetpacks. That's a fake story. They're face heaters. The thing that's weird about this is that they don't, we've never had stories like this before. We've never had stories of aliens attacking and eating people's faces. And that's why, with new genetic research, people are starting to wonder if, are we looking at a potential lab leak? People doing game theory and creating new evolutionary species, and then they break out of the lab. And is that what they're looking at potentially in Peru? It's just something to think about. Government shutdown. Let's do that before we say goodbye. My cough is bothering me, so I'm going to call it a quits. I don't know why. Probably because I worked in the garden today. Okay. Government shutdown. Precautions are being made. They're making precautions right now in DC. Could be temporary shutdown. Kevin McCarthy, he's lost control of Congress. There also could be action taken against members of Congress over the next 2 weeks. You know, the main thing they're opposed to is aid to Ukraine. If there's a shutdown, it'll be resolved in less than 10 days. It would be a very brief shutdown. And it results in victory for Ukraine. The sunflower is my Ukraine card. But they pass it just to get it through to not have a government shutdown. They do it. They don't want to do it, but they do it. Look at this, though. Look at Kevin. This is Kevin McCarthy. Fighting in heartbreak. So I think it's just showing a continuing weakness of MAGA. Yeah. All right. McCarthy resign? No, I think he's too power hungry to resign. Don't you think? Don't you think he would be too power hungry to resign, McCarthy? Let's see. Sure, Jay. Good to see you here. Thank you, everyone who's signed up for membership. Much appreciated. You know what? The only way that McCarthy's going to save his speakership is if he actually works with moderates, because MAGA is becoming increasingly weak. And I see potential legal action against MAGA. You have this victory and new beginnings in Congress. And New job for McCarthy. Letting things go, walking away. See, the aid goes through. We're going to start seeing, before the 2024 elections, people need to be mindful of the fact that Putin and the Republican Party want everybody to be divided. Like, they want Hawaii chopped into pieces. They want to start hitting the islands. They want Maui to go Republican, right? So they're trying to pick away at the old Democratic Guard in Hawaii. People should not comfortably assume the Democrats are safe in Hawaii. One of the things that they're doing is they're telling the American people, look at all this money the Democrats are spending on Ukraine, and they need to spend it here at home on Maui and on et cetera, et cetera. Here is how we put a stop to that, if you want to put a stop to it. You remind them and the Republicans that the Republicans do not support social programs. They're not going to take the money from the Ukraine war and start funding the social programs that progressives have been trying to push through, that liberals have been trying to put through. And getting out of the Ukraine war is not going to change Republicans' policies about social programs, right? So when you hear that BS from the Republicans, we have to have a ready response and ask them very specifically which social programs they plan on funding with that money. Because that's precisely what they're doing in Maui right now. They're telling people, oh, look, the satellite cities, and oh, look at what they burned it. The wicked, wicked Democrats are behind what happened in Maui. Meanwhile, yes, arson could have happened in Maui. The developers could have been involved, but the Democrats are not the people responsible. In fact, it's greed and corporations that are responsible. And greed and corporations coming in, and we're going to get those Democrats, and so you need to vote Republican, and we're going to twist the facts to get you to vote Republican in Maui. Don't be fooled. They have no interest in putting any kind of money into any social programs anywhere. Same with Oregon. They're trying to chop up Oregon between East and West, right? Well, you in Eastern Oregon, you need to go hang out with the people in Idaho, right? So that we can split the vote, or that we can get another Republican, et cetera, et cetera, BS. But it's all about attempting to break up, divide, and conquer, or talking about California being 3 different states, or ceding from the union, and all this other BS. It's just tactics and chaos to divert from the greater issues. All right, are we going to do one more before we close? Yeah, MAGA means no soup for you social programs. So don't be gaslit, just nip it in the bud. Ask them point blank. When they start saying, we're going to cut the war in the Ukraine and start helping right here. Okay, how do you want us to help? Specifically, are you talking about public health programs? Absolutely. We've been pushing for that for how long? For a public health safety net. So, yeah, we just have to be in touch with reality, because their arguments are so absurd, as if the Republican Party cares about social programs for vulnerable adults. Give me a break. Let's look at if we're going to have a market crash. I can tell you that jobs are up in October, not down, because they underhired over the summer thinking something bad was going to happen that didn't happen. And now they've got a massive unemployment problem. and it's right before Christmas, and so the opposite's happening now. But companies are getting kind of hysteric because they underhired. So we could see mass hirings between now and February. But let's look at the market, how the market's doing. New beginning for the market. That would be 8, hopes and fears, 5 of swords. And the final outcome for the market in October, slow and steady. I don't see a crash. Clarification. Oh, nice growth. The housing market reopens nicely in spring of 2024, by the way. I always see that. Nice time. I really think we want the Chinese to begin selling off U.S. Real estate. See this lovely energy in spring over housing? Four of Wands, building, new construction, April. This is a new construction card, new beginnings. I think our country is going to get a lot more stable too. Yeah. Jasmine tea, Mullen. I've been doing Mullen, but it's I have bryonitis. I took some. It's starting to act. I took some Zyrtec. Yeah, the doctors. I took some Zyrtec before, so hopefully it's starting to help. Okay, one more. I hate having to take Zyrtec, but on days when I garden, it's especially bad. So probably mold and pollen in the dirt. And I did some potting today. Hawaiian Electric Company going public? Yeesh. Do you think so? Taking power away. Some kind of some kind of action is being taken at the government level so that this doesn't happen again. You can see here a 5 of swords. This is like the governor's card. So yeah, some kind of action will be taken so that this accident doesn't happen again. All right. Did everybody have fun? All right. If you haven't had a chance to like and subscribe yet, it would be great. I will see everybody on Saturday for our private get together. That's our private salon. And I guess that's all I have for you today. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support. I'll see you next time. Be well. Bye.